My name is Louisa Maria Criscianti Chang Yujun. Louisa is just, I think, a name my parents picked out from a baby naming book. My mom originally wanted to name me Sasha, but my dad didn't like it, so they picked out Louisa from a baby naming book, and I think it means maiden warrior. I don't particularly have any connection to it. It's just my name. Maria is my baptism name. Criscianti is my grandmother's name. Chang, my surname. Yujun is my Chinese name. So my full Chinese name is Chen Yujun. So yeah, that's the history of my name. I am originally from Jakarta, Indonesia, where I grew up, where I was born, grew up, and lived for 18 years of my life. So I went to school there, and most of my immediate family are there. Um, and I tend to say I'm from Indonesia, but I also am from Singapore. So my dad is Singaporean, and that which means I have a Singaporean passport, but I don't have as much connection to Singapore as I do to Indonesia because I grew up there. I do have family in Singapore, but whenever people ask me, where are you from and all that kind of thing, I generally say this is the specific line I always say when people ask me where I'm from. I say, yeah, I'm from Indonesia and Singapore, but I sound like this because I went to an international school, and so all my teachers had an American accent, and I consumed a lot of American media, which is why I sound like this. I feel like it just saves time when people get confused about why I sound like an American when I'm from these like two Southeast Asian countries. Um, and yeah, I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but like I really do say that in real life. I've lived in Edinburgh for 5 years now, Edinburgh in Scotland, and I don't know. I really enjoy it. I've came here for uni, and I'm plan to stay here. Um, and it's just Edinburgh is a capital city that feels like a village, is what people say about Edinburgh. I can speak a variety of languages. I can speak English, and that's my first language. My mother tongue, I think, is what it's called. I can speak bahasa Indonesia, so saya bisa bicara bahasa Indonesia dan saya juga bisa bicara sedikit bahasa Jawa. Um, I also speak a bit of Mandarin. 我会说一点中文. Um, and I can also read Czech and Polish because my partner is from the Czech Republic, and so I learned how to read and understand a little bit of the Czech language. I think I'm a pretty easy person to work with. I feel like everybody would say that, but I think one of the things that makes it really easy for me to work with is that I take direction quite well. So oftentimes directors like I'll have rehearsed it at home, and then I'll present it in the way that I think I want it to be presented, but then the director will say, no, hang on, let's try it this way. And the feedback that I've gotten from directors that I've worked with in the past is that I'm actually quite good at like changing that, and making sure that it's like to the specification of like what the director wants, while also using my creative mind and like my acting ability as well. Um, and so I think I'm a pretty easy person to work with. I'm not too rambunctious or anything, so um, I don't cause any distractions. So yeah. In terms of teachers or tutors, I don't think that I particularly have one single person that I can point to and say, this person has taught me, everything I know in life. And I think that's the right way to be because I, when I look back on the people who have taught me, generally I tend to think that like every person or every teacher or tutor that I've met, who I've had a good connection with, has taught me has taught me something, and I just can't pinpoint it into one person, and I think I prefer it that way because I think coasting through life, just thinking about the teachings of one person is a bit um like old fashioned, I suppose. And I think the better way to go about it is to learn something new from everybody you meet in life and compile them together and take their teachings, internalize their teachings into messages of your own. like not to other people, but just like to your own self, you know. Um, take what people tell you and take it with a grain of salt. But if it really is means something to you, like make it part of your daily routine or make it a part of your life. And I think that's generally how I operate. So there is no specific teacher or tutor really. It's just um, yeah, it's just the way I take lessons from everybody. I think my friends would describe me as a very passionate and caring person. You know, I care a lot about my friends and I care a lot about things in general. And when I do care about something, I'm very passionate about it. So I think those are one of the two things that they would say about me. I think they would also say that I'm funny. I would hope that I'm funny because I don't think I would want to be friends with somebody who isn't like particularly funny or doesn't make me laugh, because then that's just kind of a boring friendship, to be completely honest with you. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm quite a sarcastic person. A lot of my jokes revolve around like sarcasm and just like funny things that I say and funny things that I do. So my friends would generally call me funny, I think. My attitude towards life is honestly just to be happy and just to be content and fulfilled with my life. And that is my goal for the rest of my life. I used to be the kind of person who would, just be all about wanting success. And I think what's really changed in the last couple of years is what my attitude towards what my definition of success is in life. And it used to be, be super, super rich, fancy cars, fancy houses, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I think success to me is just having a happy life with to just be content and to be happy with the people around me. And I think generally that is the way I live. I try and live my life. One of the things I appreciate most about myself is that I'm a very passionate person. Um, and that means that I, whenever there's like a concept or something that I really, really believe in, I try to fight for it and I try my best to advocate for it. And that is one thing that I really hold dear. And I try to stick to my guns and say, like, unless there's like I'm not like inflexible, um, but in general, when there is something that I really truly believe in, I try my best to stick to it unless there's like rational arguments or rational um, reasonings why something could be different from the way I'm thinking. So I guess I'm not. That's not to say that I'm an inflexible person. It's just I am passionate about the things that I'm passionate about, whether it's nerd stuff like gaming or civil rights. I think one of the most surprising things about me is that for 3 years I was part of the Edinburgh University Curling Club, and curling as in the sport, curling. People just don't expect that because I'm from a tropical country, tropical countries, and they just don't associate um, Asia with, or at least those Asian countries specifically, with ice and curling and 30-kilogram stones. But yeah, I was part of the university curling club, and I actually got to the championships. And I started out in uni, but got to the championship level, and I even got most improved player in 2018 to 2019. So I'm pretty proud of that actually. Um, yeah, because I'm not much of an athlete, so having the sport was quite having the sport that I kind of did relatively well in was quite an achievement for me. And I've made incredible friends from curling as well.